Hey there, YouTubers. All right, another BIOS related video. So I get this asked a lot. Um, I bet there's 100 of these questions on all of my pages, but people are always asking me, which BIOS file do I update to? Can I update to the newest BIOS, or do I have to do the other ones, right? So for the most part, this answer is simple. You would update to the newest BIOS. However, there is a chance, very small chance, that you may have to update an earlier BIOS. Okay, so what's the solution to that, folks? You're going to read every single BIOS file and make sure that you don't have to do this. All right, so how do we find a BIOS file? It's pretty much the same way for all of the manufacturers. I'm going to give you, I've pulled up a bunch here, but let's just find one right off the bat. This is one of the motherboards that I used to have, or one similar, Z370. So search for that, and I grab that link, and boom, we're in here, okay? Now, pretty much you're always going to see a support up here. We don't want that one. We want this support. And that brings us to this guy, okay? So sometimes across here you'll see BIOS. Other times you'll see it called out specifically as BIOS, so we'll click on that. And this motherboard has a lot of updates, right? So probably quite a few issues. Now, most likely, folks, you'll be able to just download this latest one. But like I said, you always want to read each one of these, okay? So another aspect is if nothing's going wrong with your computer, you might not want to update the BIOS, okay? So first release, this is what came with a lot of the motherboards when they first came out. So as you're reading this, you see, okay, there was a VGA issue with those graphics cards. This enhanced XMP performance, update Intel ME for security vulnerabilities. DDR stuff, SSD, update CPU microcode, support Octane memory, improve Windows boot time, optimize for Intel 9th Gen core processors. So here's another thing. Potentially, we talk about this in other videos, but if you don't have an 8th Gen for something like this, to update to 9th Gen, you might have a problem. So other things, a lot of stuff in here to understand why you're doing it and if you need it. Some more stuff about 9th Gen. And obviously we're here 2022, not that many people are buying 8th and 9th Gen, but this is where we're starting this video. Update CPU microcode. So workaround. Most of these, most of you won't need to do, okay? So if you were to do a BIOS update, you grab this one. It'll be cumulative. Nothing below this in the description said that we had to update one of the earlier BIOSes. All right, so this is the one you would end up saving, and you'll just click here and save it to your desktop or your USB. Then you'll have to unzip it. We're not going to cover that in this video. Let's look at another example, okay? So Z370, Z390 was more meant for 9th Gen. This is ASRock, okay? Not necessarily the best as far as support goes. Sometimes you'll see they don't even give you a BIOS update. In this case, first release, you see improved memory compatibility. So they must have had some issues. They kept trying to work on it over that time period of a year, 3 months, whatever. So we see in here, this one, most of the time you can go back to an earlier BIOS. This one, however, tells you right here that you will not be able to do it. Some people, may go back to an early BIOS because their computer runs better. So reading these descriptions, once again, there's nothing stopping you from doing the most up-to-date BIOS, okay? And you would do 4.4 for this example. Let's look at a Z490. So we're talking 10th, 11th Gen. ROG Strix Z490E. So in this case, we'll start at the bottom. This should be the first release BIOS. As you're just reading through this, you're not really seeing anything to tell you otherwise. But I tell you this, there are BIOS out there that will surprise you and say, hey, update this one first before you do the latest. So none of these are like that, okay? This was a Z690i, a new one. Doesn't even have any BIOS updates out there. So you're kind of stuck with that. You may find that with the motherboard you're looking at. There is no BIOS updates. Here's another one. Really nice motherboard. Yours truly wishes he could bring these to the channel, but unfortunately. Alright, so this was a more recent one, Z690. We're reading through this again. Compatibility, a lot of stuff related to RAM, folks. You'll see that. And eventually there'll be 13th gen related stuff in here. So in this case, you would want to grab this latest one as well. So hope that helps you out, folks. You know, I've done hundreds of, maybe, I don't know if I've got to 1,000, but hundreds of BIOS updates. And I've seen an example or two where we did not, we could not go straight to the most up-to-date. Majority of the time, though, it's straight to the best one, all right, the newest one. So thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.